Welcome to another 5 Things Friday. That's right, it's Friday, and I am so excited to share this week's topic with you, which is 5 mean tweets. Scratch that, 5 mean reviews. Get ready for the viciousness at its best as we explore some of the worst reviews I have ever received. Thanks so much for being back with me for another 5 Things Friday. I am really eager to dive into this topic with you, mainly because it's a question that I get asked at almost any event that I do. People want to know if I read reviews. The short answer is no, not really. I will read trade reviews if my editor sends me a review from Mystery Scene magazine or Kirkus Reviews or something like that, a professional trade review. I will absolutely read that. But I don't read reviews by readers. And here's why. I work on a book. I create a cast of characters who become like friends and family to me. I'm following them on a journey from a writing perspective. But once I send a book out into the world, it's yours. It belongs to you, the reader. And so every reader is entitled to their own opinion. Maybe you love my books. Maybe you hate them. It doesn't matter. My books, once they're out in the world, don't really belong to me anymore. They belong to you. And the second piece is that I prescribe to the Brené Brown philosophy of my work is the creative work. And so once I put it out there, it is for readers to do as they wish. But I don't necessarily need to hear criticism because if it doesn't resonate with you, it doesn't resonate. So the tone of today's topic is in that light and in that jest. Have you seen mean tweets? It's hilarious, right? So I thought it would be fun to pull up some reviews, some very negative reviews of my books and share them with you. Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Number 1, this review comes from Scene of the Climb. In Scene of the Climb, I have a very young, bumbling journalist, wannabe journalist, Meg, who is fresh out of college and desperate to find a job. It says all of this on the back cover. We know right away, if you are picking up this book, that Meg is not mature. She's 20, early 20s. So here we go. The main character is young. So very young. I expected her to be more mature. Yeah, well, again, she's 20. She's supposed to be immature. She's supposed to make mistakes. That's kind of why I wrote her. Okay, here's another one for poor little bumbling Meg. Oh, Meg took me away from any future interest in this series. She needs a job and is sleeping on her friend's sofa. Yeah, that happens all the time. When I was writing Scene of the Climb, the New York Times did a big story about how Portland was the place that young people were coming to retire. There was this influx of 20-somethings coming and like couch surfing and, maybe working as baristas by day so they could go ski up at Mount Hood at night. Okay, we'll continue with this one. She's usually arriving late at work, at her brand new job, or just in time with others waiting for her. She does not meet her deadline even though her boss keeps asking her for a draft. Even though she is warned to be careful, she goes full steam ahead, putting herself in dangerous situations. Yep, she does. Sorry, but she does. That's the whole hook of this series. She's supposed to be a fish out of the water, trying these dangerous escapades, even when she has not an athletic bone in her body. That's what I love about Meg. I build this series originally as like Bridget Jones out in the wild. But obviously some readers do not agree. Here's one more. She's silly, foolish, and immature. How dare she be so young? I don't know. There are 20-somethings in the world. The funny thing about this to me is many of Meg's escapades are based on my adventures in my early 20s. I made some mistakes, but isn't that all part of life and growing up? All right, moving on to number 2. This is for The Pint of No Return. Ellie Alexander seems to have some familiarity with the area, but her descriptions are clearly gained from tourists' brochures, which is sad, really, because she's from the Pacific Northwest, I think. What is particularly troublesome, though, are the inaccuracies. Details are wildly off the mark. One example, Leavenworth is more than 100,000 feet above sea level. Planes fly at 35,000 feet. The highest point on the planet is only 29,000 feet. Leavenworth is a lowly 1,000 feet. A simple Google search would have provided that information. Okay, so many things to discuss in this one. Yes, I am from the Pacific Northwest. I'm a native. I'm a lifer. And I have been to Leavenworth many, many times. I do have stacks of tourist brochures that I kind of pull from. And of course, I know that Leavenworth isn't at 100,000 feet. Just FYI, I had to look in the book. It never says 100,000 feet, but thanks for that. And yeah, I've been to Leavenworth a few times because it's amazing. I always want to go back under the excuse of research. All right, number 3. This is from Death on Tap. This is maybe my favorite of all. I don't like beer. I don't drink beer. I don't like the smell of beer. There was so much beer in this book. Okay. It's titled Death on Tap, and it talks about the fact that Sloane Krause is a craft brewer. Maybe you pass on that one. I don't know. Here's another one from Death on Tap. Sloane only makes things with beer? Who would eat cupcakes or brownies made from beer? And since when are things like that ever served at a brewery? Personally, I don't drink, but I have eaten at a brewery, and they have never had desserts with a beer. Who would buy a cookie or a brownie at a bar? This does not ring true. Breweries of Washington have no imagination, obviously, or their diners are willing to pay $5 for a beer brownie? I don't see it. So one of the things when I was working on Death on Tap is that here in the Northwest, and so maybe this is unique to our little corner of the planet, breweries really do have so many amazing menu items infused with beer, including desserts. Okay, we are moving on to number 4. This comes from Meet Your Baker, my Bake Shop Mystery Series. Here we go. I was surprised that Tort is a bakery cafe and they serve savory pastries. I prefer my bakeries to serve sweets only. I'd rather read about cupcakes and cookies. I don't want to read about bread and savories, so I will probably not visit this series again. Okay. More power to you, absolutely. But one of the things that I love about writing about Tort is weaving in some savory breads and kind of having that full-scale artisan bake shop experience. The bakery that I have modeled Meet Your Baker after here in Ashland, Oregon, serves the most delicious soups and like ham and Swiss herbed croissants. So bring on the savories, I say. Okay, this is also from Meet Your Baker. Even the annoying punny title took me a couple days to figure out. Meet Your Baker. Kind of like Meet Your Maker. Yeah? No, I don't know. Okay, and last but not least, I don't really like baking. This one is definitely not for me. Fair enough. But again, if you pick up a book that's titled Meet Your Baker, maybe you rethink that. I don't know. And rounding things out with one more from Natural Thorn Killer. The wetness of Seattle was probably the best natural description. I felt pretty rain-soaked after reading Britta's experiences in weather. That was the best thing about this book. Okay, Natural Thorn Killer, set in Portland, not Seattle, but I'm glad that I captured the wetness of the Pacific Northwest. Oh dear, I hope you enjoyed this look at some of the mean reviews that are simmering out there in the world for my writing. I really appreciate anyone who takes the time to share an honest review. And I'd also love to hear from you. What are your thoughts? As readers, do you read reviews? Do they influence your decision to perhaps pick a book up off the shelves? Do you share reviews? Let me know in the comments below. Happy reading!